What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and welcome to another episode of our First Down Training show. Today, we're going to be talking about if you should train like a bodybuilder or like an athlete. We're going to be talking about some pros and cons of each and what I feel you should do. Then we're going to be getting into some current events. We're going to be talking about the Manning Passing Academy and how they had over 1,400 athletes there. So we're going to talk about my opinions on that. And then we're going to be getting into some questions that you guys left on a previous episode. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's get started. So fellas, this is kind of like a common topic that we hear in the football world. A lot of athletic trainers out there, a lot of just trainers in general that aren't really like, I guess, athlete specific, talk about a lot how football players should train like athletes, they shouldn't train like bodybuilders. Now, while that is absolutely 100% of the time true, I don't think that applies to all of you. So let me explain. So if you're an athlete, like let's say you're just skin and bones, man. You're like a receiver, you're a freshman, you're like 120 pounds, you're like 5'10", super light, super thin. Bro, you need to train like a bodybuilder. At a certain point, like you got to put on some size, right? So like, hey, listen, if you're 120, and let's talk about it like this. Let's say all you do is athlete-centric movements. You're doing plyometrics, Olympic lifts, whatever, but you don't train like a bodybuilder. You're going to be 120 pounds soaking wet. You're going to be really fast. You're going to be really explosive, but like at the end of the day, you need to pass something called the eye test when it comes to a college coach. And to be able to get play time, coaches got to be confident that that dude can go over the middle, take a hit, and not break freaking fully in half. You know what I mean? So like, I'm telling you right now, it's a combination of both. So what is training like a bodybuilder? What does that exactly mean, right? So like a bodybuilder, what type of exercises does he do? He does the bench press, he does the shoulder press, does a lot of machine work, a lot of stuff for his back, squats, you know, like machine lifts. Like I'm not the biggest fan of machine work for athletes just because I feel like it doesn't activate like certain stabilizer muscles that you need, because that's important as a football player, right? Like let's say you're a lineman, right? And you're doing like just like, you know, Smith machine bench press. That doesn't put any like emphasis on the stabilizer muscles or your joints that you might have in your shoulders and your elbows that you might need when you block. And again, honestly, guys, linemen block from their hips, but I'm just using that as an example because a lot of people obviously know what bench press is and have seen that. And so the machines just put the emphasis on your muscles. Now, here's the thing. If you got to put on size, like you need to get bigger, like you got to train like a bodybuilder, I would say more so than what you need to be doing as an athlete. Now, what are some examples of like bodybuilding exercise? We just gave you some, but if you need to put on size, bro, like you should be lifting in an 8 to 12 rep range. That's the best rep range for muscle growth if you need to put on size. Obviously, your diet plays a major role in you gaining weight, but like I want to put on muscle. I don't want to get fat. I don't want to be slowed down. So like you need to be eating a high protein diet. You need to be in a calorie surplus, which means consuming more calories than what you burn on a day-to-day basis. But in the gym, guys, if you're doing a leg day, you need to be doing those bodybuilding type exercises, just back squats, front squats, split squats, upper body days. You need to be doing the bodybuilder lifts, the shoulder presses, the dumbbell bench press. If you're a quarterback, stay away from bench press because it's not the best thing for your shoulder. But any other position, you have to be doing those types of exercises to be able to put on size. Now, when it comes to training like an athlete, what does that exactly mean and when is it the right time to do that? Now, before we get into that though, fellas, if you guys go to that very first link in the description below, we just dropped our brand new merch. So we dropped our merch yesterday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm wearing some of it. This is our wide receiver 1 merchandise, I guess you could say like grouping, if you will. We partnered with Adidas on our new merch line. So we have tons of Adidas gear at a very affordable price. And we also have alternative First Down Training logos, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, lightweight hoodies, bunch of different colors. We have quarterback towels, wide receiver towels. So fellas, our merch store though is only going to be available for 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, all of our merch will not be available. So if you guys go to that very first link in the description below, play receiver, play quarterback, any position, we have merch for all of you guys. So our wide receiver 1 series, quarterback 1 series, First Down Training alternative logos, guys, very first link in that description below, that is where you can get our merchandise. Okay, so I want to make sure I told you guys that early so you could take advantage of it. But again, very affordable price because we don't want to break the bank on any merch. We just want you guys in our merch, and we really do appreciate the support of the channel and of the brand, okay? Now, training like an athlete. What does that exactly mean? Training like an athlete is doing stuff that's going to help you with like your job on the field. That's why it is important. Now, should athletes only train like bodybuilders if you need to gain weight? No, you need to incorporate some of these athletic-centric movements in your routine. So I'm a firm believer in Olympic lifts. So like I'm talking hang cleans, power cleans, push jerk, be careful if you're a quarterback again, but those types of like explosive movements where you're trying to move weight fast, that translates to on-field speed, explosiveness, quickness, and a lot of other things. And we're gonna get into some other athlete-specific exercises in a second. But here's the thing about athletes, what you have to understand. As football players, we are fast-twitch muscle fiber athletes. There's two types of muscle fibers that every single human on earth has in their body. You have slow twitch fibers and fast twitch fibers, right? Slow twitch fibers are like what you use if you're doing like laps around a track. So let's say you go out to the track and run 4 miles. You're activating like slow twitch fibers. Let's say you're running sprints with like a sled. Those are activating fast twitch fibers, and you give yourself a break and then you go as hard as you possibly can again. And that's what football is. The ball is snapped. No matter what side of the field you were on, you were kind of exerting all out effort. You're a receiver, you're running hard. You're a quarterback, you're throwing hard. You're a lineman, you're trying to block hard, trying to be explosive. Whistle blows, play ends, you get a second. Next play, bam, we do it again. So in the gym, you kind of have to train like that. You have to do Olympic lifts where you're trying to move the weight fast. Like let's ignore the Olympic lifts. An athletic lift would probably be like a jump squat. So let's say you're holding 2 dumbbells, let's say they're like 25s. You go down 50% and then you explode up as soon as you hit the bottom and you jump as high as you can, you land. Okay, relax, do it again. You're trying to move weight fast. That would be like training like an athlete. Now, jump squats might help your legs a little bit, but it's more so for the explosive element. It's not necessarily to get your legs bigger. And the best rep range to do explosive movements in would be probably around like 5 to 7 reps, where you're trying to move a decent amount of weight as fast as you can and as explosively as you can. So that's part of what they mean when they say train like an athlete. So you need to incorporate that. If you're a dude that needs to get bigger on like a leg day, I would incorporate some power cleans. I would incorporate some box jumps, which is a plyometric exercise we'll talk about in a second. I would incorporate some jump squats, okay? So now, the other side of athletic training and training like an athlete is doing stuff for like balance, doing stuff for like single leg stability, ankle stability, foot strength. Those things are also important because that helps you with athleticism. So whenever you run, like pretend my hand is a foot. If I'm striking the ground, I don't want to be heel toe. I don't want to strike on my toe and then have my heel go down. What I want to do is I want to be on the ball of my foot, I strike and I shoot right up. Ball of the foot, shoot right up. And I don't want my like heel or my ankle to cave down to where my heel is hitting the ground, right? So doing exercises that work on that will make you a better athlete. But again, it's not the only thing that you do. I get so pissed off because I'll go on TikTok and there's this one coach on TikTok that's always just like, train like an athlete, not a bodybuilder. And he's trying to sell you a program, but it's like, bro, you need to do both. Like that's not one size fits all. Now let's say this. Let's say you're a running back and you're 6'1" and you're 225. Like, yeah, you're big enough, bro. Like you should probably just train like an athlete. But if you're 5'9", 165 pounds and you play running back, dude, you gotta get bigger. So you need to be able to do both. It's not one size fits all. So like, you know, let's say for example, you're doing box jumps and you're on a single leg and you're trying to land on the ball of your foot and you're trying to jump off the ground on the ball of your foot. That's a more athletic-centric movement, okay? So doing those things will absolutely benefit you as a football player, but it should not be the only things that you do. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. Now, fellas, we're gonna get into some current events, then we're gonna get into some of your guys' questions. Now, if you were waiting till the end of that spiel to check out our merch store, guys, very first link in the description below, our merch is only gonna be available for a limited time, 2 weeks only. Wide receiver 1, QB1 merch, and alternative first down training logos. Again, we partnered with Adidas, so everything that we have, super high quality, super lightweight, and honestly, it's pretty good looking merch, you guys. I'm very, very pleased with the merch. I didn't design it. We partnered with somebody to design it. Obviously, we partnered with Adidas, and they did a hell of a job. So we're really excited to get that out to you guys. So fellas, very first link in that description below. Let's get to some current events. So current events, number 1. Manning Passing Academy brings 1,450 young QBs, so 1,450 young QBs to Thibodaux, which is Louisiana, right? I hope I pronounced that right. Here's the deal. I used to be a big Manning Passing Academy hater. I used to be like, man, like, dude, like that many quarterbacks, like how much instruction are you getting, yada, yada. And like, you know, if some of you have been, I'd love to hear what your experience was in the comment section below if you're a quarterback watching this. But like, here's my deal. It depends on the type of athlete. I think a lot of people go because they want to work with the college quarterbacks. It's a great idea. Peyton and Eli there, Arch Manning's there, all the top college quarterbacks are there, and you get to work with them. Like, who wouldn't love that opportunity, right? Now, again, what are you going for? Are you going to meet them? Are you going to work on your mechanics? Are you going to work on certain aspects of your game? There are certain aspects of your game at the Manning Passing Academy, just from players that I've worked with personally, people that I've talked to, that you'll get a lot of benefit out of. Like, you're going to learn a lot about, like, okay, how should I throw a quick screen? How can I get a quicker release? How can I read a defense properly? And all that stuff is great to know as a quarterback. But again, if you're a quarterback that struggles with your mechanics and you're going there thinking that Peyton Manning's going to teach you the right mechanics of how to throw a football or a college quarterback is, you're not. Because look at the numbers, guys. 1,400 athletes are there. I heard that that's not all quarterbacks. I heard that that's QBs and receivers, but there's a significant more amount of quarterbacks there than receivers. You're not going to get that type of one-on-one instruction because it's a camp. Now, I do believe that it is worth probably the price because it's a long weekend, bro. You get there on Thursday, and they have like their introduction, they maybe do some strength and conditioning stuff, then all day Friday you're working, all day Saturday you're working, and then Sunday you do some 7-on-7 stuff. So it's 4 days of work, and it's like all day. So like I definitely think it's worth the price. And I don't think they're making a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like they're just profiting a whole bunch and not giving back. I think they dump a lot back into the program. You got athletes in dorms, that's not cheap. The insurance cost for that is astronomical. Take it from me, because with our camps that we do 2-day camps, and so I've looked into like doing like maybe a 3-day camp where kids will stay overnight. The insurance cost is ridiculous because there's all kinds of liability. You can worry about kids getting in fights, some type of assault, and it's a lot of headaches. So props to them for doing that and being able to pull that off. But that's, guys, honestly probably why the price is the price. So I think the price point is not bad. What I would just say is understand what you're getting into as a quarterback. Don't be blinded by it and think you're going to get this crazy one-on-one instruction from a college quarterback or one of the Mannings. You're not. It's high-paced, a lot of reps. I recommend going if you want that type of experience, but also if you just need to go to get some reps and you want to see how you stack up with other quarterbacks across the country. That's all I would say about that. So Manning Passing Academy at the end of the day I think is a good choice, but you know, if you're looking for something a little bit more detailed, I would probably look elsewhere, okay? So now, guys, we are going to be getting into some of your guys' questions that you left on previous episodes. So guys, all these questions that we do and feature on our episodes, they are directly from you guys, comments that you've left on previous episodes of this show. So fellas, if you guys have questions you want to ask me, I'm either going to respond to you, because you guys know this, I respond to every single comment, but if you want me to respond to you, answer your question, or feature you on our show, guys, post your questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer that for you guys. So now, question number 1 from Jay Jetta's Clips. As an athlete, what should you be looking for in a coach team school? So if you're trying to decide on a school to go to or a school to attend, a couple things you want to keep in mind. If you want to play college ball, what you need to look for is, okay, am I going to go to a school where I'm going to get playtime? Do you need to start as a freshman right away? No. But am I going to get playtime my sophomore, junior, senior year? What's the situation like? Am I going to be sitting on the bench until I'm a senior? Am I going to be able to play as a sophomore or junior? Because to play at the next level, you need film. Second thing you want to look at, you could have all the film in the world, but your recruiting process is going to be much harder if your coach does not have a history of getting guys to the next level. Generally, how the recruiting process works at like real legitimate recruiting, I'm not talking about the BS 7-on-7 fake offers, I'm talking about real offers. It's coaches will go to high schools with high school coaches that they know and have a relationship with. So if that high school coach has had 5 guys go D1 last year, he had 10 guys the year before, whatever, he's gonna know a lot of college coaches, and those college coaches are gonna be going back to him being like, hey, you got any players? Because that player worked out, we signed that player was really good, so they're going to come back to him. So when deciding a school, if you want to play at the next level, those are 2 things that I would ultimately look into. And then obviously academics play a role, but I would say those 2 things primarily for football. Academics, it just kind of depends on your goals, okay? So I hope that helps, man. Thank you for asking that. Next question from Matthew Dino 4620. Hey coach, wanted to know how you used to handle a busy schedule due to football practice, school, and other life stuff. Thanks. So when it comes to time management as a football player, what I recommend is spacing out your day in like hour increments. This is what really worked well for me. So like, hey, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm going to wake up, shower, eat breakfast. 7 to 8 a.m. I'm going to go to school, maybe do some homework, whatever. Like 8 to 9, 9 to 2, those are my classes. Then like 2 to 3, I have this. 3 to 4, I have this. 4 to 5. When you space your day out in hour increments and you kind of have that with you and you're crossing things off as you go, you can stay focused on what you need to do. I know me personally, like, I wear a lot of different hats, right? I have, content that I post, I run a business, I have a second and third business, so like it can be a lot. And if I don't space my day out like and write things down like, hey, this is what I need to do, me personally, I'm very scatterbrained. So like if I have a million things to do and it's just like a list, I'm like, oh, do I do this, I do that, I do that, that's just me. Right? So if you map your day out in like hour increments and just cross things off, it helps you stay focused by the hour on what you need to do and things you need to accomplish. So I hope that makes sense, man. And crossing things off obviously helps with confidence too as well. Now, next question here from Wally Fitzpatrick. And coach, what's the best way to gain weight quickly? I've noticed that I've started to lose weight during summer workouts, even though I've been doing protein shakes every week and lifting. I'm 14, around 120 now, was 122.4 before summer workouts, and is 130 a realistic goal? Yes. Here's the thing, bro. If you're having protein shakes, that's great, but like if you want to gain weight quickly, you need to make sure that you are eating and staying in a calorie surplus. You should try to stay 50% above what you were doing every day, like in terms from a calorie burning perspective. A lot of guys lose weight during the season, during summer workouts, during Hell Week, simply because they're burning more calories than what they are consuming. So dude, after practice, you need to make sure you're eating. What I recommend, dude, is maybe getting some type of like Apple Watch, Fitbit, something small, something that you could track how many calories you're burning on a day-to-day basis and be like, okay, I'm burning 1,200 calories at practice. I'm only consuming 800. I need to make sure that I'm consuming 1,700, 1,800 calories. It's just the sake of figures, right? Again, like that's not everybody's situation. It's not how much everybody should eat, but that's what you should be thinking about. How can I stay in a calorie surplus? Because that is one of the best ways to gain weight quickly. So hope that makes sense, man. I appreciate you asking that question. Fellas, that does it for this episode, but seriously, I appreciate everybody tuning in. We really, really are grateful for you guys tuning into our longer form videos. Hope you're enjoying them. Hope you're getting some value, and we'll see you guys next time.